It's the final week of July, but thankfully the regional scene did its usual of holding nothing back for us. Because this week we've got everything from a Cage Warriors fight where someone decides to use this fight as a Muay Thai clinic, and we've got yet another rare submission of the week that is probably going to make you realize just how flexible you aren't compared to these fighters, and almost a double knockout that looks straight up like something out of Tekken. But as always, first things first, let's jump to our fan comment of the week that goes to Lasoli Ribbleson, another name that I hope I'm saying right, and they said, that last guy was like, call the ambulance, but not for me, which is just a classic meme if you're unaware.
Call an ambulance, but not for me.
And they were referring to this fight from last week where Shane Subnoski just about gets finished with this hook, only to surprise his opponent with the hook of his own. This was a classic highlight from last week, and congrats on relating it to the meme and getting our fan comment of the week. What is going on, everyone? It's the Casual, Lawton Veerkant, and this is Caposa's Corner. Kicking us off this week, we're heading to KSW 72 in Poland, and we're starting this week off strong as well because it is time for Caposa's Prospect of the Week. Here we have the co-main event featherweight matchup that sees Dawid Chmielowski sitting at a very nice 9-0 record, and he's taking on Patrick Kazmarczyk, who is also sitting at a nice 8-1. So unlike most KSW fights that we feature, this one actually makes it to the second round, and as we just passed the halfway mark, any guesses who's gonna come out on top?
Keep up the creativity. I mean, you look. Oh, there's a kick that caused problem. It's all over. It's a knockdown.
If you guessed Chmielowski by devastating front kick to the body, well, you were very accurate. And as I'm sure you can assume now, he is in fact our prospect of the week this week. So let's get into why. As I said during the intros, both of these fighters had impressive records, but this win keeps Chmielowski's pristine at a now 10-0. He also might be a name you recognize because back in February, he was featured on this show when he had this nose-breaking highlight at KSW 67, and alongside a nice amateur record of 7-2, all 10 of Chmielowski's pro fights have been finishes. Yes, that's right, not a single one has gone to a decision, and none have even made it past the third round. This dude is just an absolute killer, as I'm sure you've been seeing with the highlights currently, and although this was only his second fight in KSW, since those have been such fantastic finishes, Caposa says that he would not be surprised if he gets fast-tracked to fighting for the title here soon. And if that happens, I have a feeling that fight will most likely end up on Caposa's Corner as well, but until then, make sure you keep your eye on Dawid Chmielowski because this guy definitely has a bright future ahead of him. Now we're gonna head to Cage Warriors 141 in London where we have two fights to show you. For the first, we have another featherweight bout that sees Samuel Bark sitting at a 4-1 record, and he actually took this fight on barely a 1-week notice, and he's taking on Tobias Harila, who has a very nice 10-2 record. So this is actually the fight I mentioned in the intro about someone putting on a Muay Thai clinic, and as we are just over a minute and a half into the second round of this one, I think it may be obvious who's about to get this win.
Bark's doing a really good job of cracking in close range.
And he's out.
Yep, the short notice replacement Samuel Bark, who was just relentless with these knees and elbows almost the entire second round, but when he secured this final clinch, all it took was these two knees to absolutely fold him, and then the ground and pound was short-lived as the ref steps in and this one is over. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, alongside this being a very short notice fight for him, it was also his Cage Warriors debut, so that's definitely one hell of a way to come into a promotion and make a statement, and he did just that, securing this win and improving his record to 5-1. And for our second fight at Cage Warriors 141, we have a welterweight matchup between Daniel Skabinski with an 18-7 record, and he's up against Jimmy Wallhead, a UK MMA legend if you're a European fan, because this guy has fought everywhere over there and even had a 2-fight UFC stint back in 2016 to 2017, and he's sitting at a 30-11 record, and this is actually his first fight in 3 years. We're getting back on track with our first round finishes because this whole fight only lasts a minute and 15 seconds, and a little bit of fight experience might come into play for this one.
Fast hands from Jimmy Wallhead, picking his shots. Looking to pick his shots, and he's out!
The UK veteran Wallhead does it again by landing this huge right hook to the chin, and even though Skabinski tried to defend it with some wrestling, it just wasn't enough, as you can see in the replay as he eats a few ground hooks, and then the ref puts a stop to this one. This is one of those that it wasn't the most insane or crazy knockout we've ever seen, but this was a cool moment because, like I said, this guy has been fighting since 2005, and he just came off of a 3-year break, and his first fight back is at a promotion he used to be in, so him pulling off this quick first round finish is something we love to see, so congrats to Wallhead on the win, and that improves his record to 31-11. Moving on, we're gonna go check out Camp 12 in Argentina, where it is time for Caposa's hand-picked submission of the week. Here we have a featherweight fight between Elias Rue with an even 2-2 record, and his opponent Lukas Miletic has just a 2-1. So this one goes to the ground just halfway through the first round, and that's where we're gonna stay for the rest of it, because just 45 seconds later, well, I hope someone stretched before this fight.
La pierna ahora. Y ojo, puede tener la llave de rodilla. Puede buscar la llave de rodilla. Está profundo, está encajada.
Yep, a Suloev stretch from hell that after they roll over, you can just see the pain on his face as he is forced to tap, and that is all this one takes. Now, I wouldn't say I'm exactly in great shape, but at no point in my life do I ever think that someone could have bent my leg that high and it not done some severe damage. I mean, seriously, just look at this frame. If we couldn't see his right leg, this would be a very confusing picture because no one should be bent that way. And these are sadly the only two angles we have of this highlight, but a very big congratulations is in order for Miletic on pulling off this fantastic submission and for improving his record to 3-1. Off to visit Naciones MMA 8 in Colombia, where we have 2 fights to show you. For the first, why not? Let's go ahead and take a look at Caposa's KO of the week. Here we have a bantamweight matchup that has Ivan Dario Londoño making his professional debut, and he's up against Duvan Felipe Lopez, who is also making his professional debut. We've got another second round finish, but oh boy is this one worth it, because as we near the 1-minute mark, I really hope this canvas floor is extra sturdy for this one.
Nice take.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Great take, and that's it. Wow.
Yep, seems pretty sturdy to me, even though I'm pretty sure Londoño tried everything within his power to slam his opponent straight through the canvas, and instead of that happening, well, he gets an immediate KO upon impact and leaves him asleep and on the floor. Slam KOs are slowly becoming a new favorite of mine because they always seem to come out of nowhere. I mean, look, if Lopez hadn't thrown this now very inconvenient sidekick, he wouldn't have been able to get bear hugged like that and slammed, but in fact, that's exactly what happens, and Londoño makes a very impressive debut as he secures his first MMA win. For our second fight at Naciones MMA 8, we have another bantamweight bout between Angisun Gaviria, sitting at a 7-4 record, and his opponent, Johan Estupinian, has just an 0-1 record. And fun fact about this one, these two actually fought back in March in another promotion, so do we think he's gonna get some redemption on this one, or will history repeat itself?
Finish! And wow! What a finish!
Well, damn, that is one way to get some payback, I suppose. After this right to what looks like maybe grazes the forehead or maybe the top of the head, he loads up this left hook and puts everything he's got in it, and it pays off because it sends him down and stiff to the canvas. That's gotta be some sweet, sweet revenge fighting the same guy back-to-back in your first 2 MMA fights, and getting a KO finish like this one in the rematch just has to be perfect. So, congrats to Estupinian on this win and for leveling out his record to 1-1. Moving on, we're gonna check out MMR Promotions in Mexico, where we have 1 fight to show you. Here we have, well, I'm not sure what the weight is because the broadcast didn't give me much information, and I couldn't even find an event page, but we do have Nick Murdoch representing the red corner, and his opponent, Daniel Cruz, is representing the blue corner. So this is the other fight that I mentioned in the intro about looking like something straight out of Tekken, and just over halfway through the first round, tell me if I'm wrong.
Y esa patada frontal que lo manda a la... ¡Oh! Veamos esa patada por atrás que lo manda a la lona. Y con el ground and pound.
Oh yeah, that's right, a dueling spin kick attempt where only one comes out as the victor and follows it up with some ground hooks to put a stop to this one. We don't have the best replay angle on this one, but you can see that Murdoch comes out on top as he makes direct contact and just sends his opponent down and confused, only for the ground hooks to get the ref stoppage. Caposa noted when he sent this to me that you just seriously can't script this stuff. And this is just living proof because I don't think I've ever seen something like this in a fight, but we love to see it, and congrats to Murdoch on this impressive win. Still going, we're gonna pay a visit to our friends at Combate Global, where we have a lightweight matchup that sees Jordan Beltran with a 12-8 record, and he's taking on Jose Mariscal, who also has an 11-6 record. Okay, so not the two best records, but clearly something great had to happen in this fight for it to make it on this episode, and just 29 seconds into the second round, well, we get this.
Debajo en la pelea, pero de parte de... ¡Impresionante! Señoras y señores, aquí tiene que terminar.
Yep, a huge question mark kick from Jose, followed up by a swarm, and this one is finished very quickly into the second round. This was just a textbook example of the question mark kick because Beltran didn't even have time to realize what was happening, nonetheless block it, and it just sends him down and puts a stop to this one. Fantastic performance though from Jose as he claims this win and improves his record to 12-6. And for our last event this week, we're heading to XMMA 5 in South Carolina where we have two fights to show you. For the first, we have a featherweight bout between Weston Wilson with a 13-6 record and some experience in LFA and even Bellator back in 2017, and he's taken on Teruto Ishihara, who has an 11-9-3 record, and is a name you probably remember from his UFC run from 2015 to 2019. This one was actually a personal favorite of mine just because it's so definitive, and with just a minute and a half left in the first round, someone is about to go down hard.
Good leg kicks by Teruto.
Ishihara with the big, with a big left hand. Oh, Ishihara just caught him.
Puts him down and out with a huge left hook, and thankfully the ref stepped in because Wilson attempts to recover, but you can see he is just out of it and this fight is over. I will say either of those guys could have landed this punch because I'm not too sure why they have their hands so low like they're just welcoming a punch to the face, but Ishihara capitalizes first and lands his beautiful first round KO, improving his record to 12-9-3. And for our last fight this week, still at XMMA 5, we have a middleweight match at the season. Impa Kasanganai sitting at a 9-3 record, and is probably another name you recognize as he has 2 Contender Series wins, and has 4 fights in the UFC back in 2020 and 2021, and he's taken on also a UFC veteran Jared Gooden, who has a 20-7 record and also fought in the UFC at the same time. So just 2 minutes into this one, Impa is hunting his opponent down and actually sends him down and rocks him with this sequence, but Gooden survives and we fast forward just over a minute, and well, I think Impa wants to finish what he started.
He's rocked, he's wobbly on his feet.
Oh! And another big right hand. Kasanganai is finishing him. This one is over.
He is just going for the kill once he realizes he's rocked him, and then he proceeds to just wobble his head with his flurry until he collapses to the canvas, and this one is over. Although both guys have had some major promotion experience, this one was definitely a big win for Impa just in the context of him having over half as few fights as Gooden, so a huge congrats on this win and for improving his record to 10-3. It's the final week of the month, and we've got 3 fights from each category, so don't forget to leave your favorite KO, sub, and prospect from the month of July down below in the comments. And just as a reminder, I've gone back and timestamped these videos just so you can quickly look back and get refreshed on these fights. And on next week's video, I'll be letting you guys know who took our top 3 awards from this month. We also want to say a huge thank you, as always, to Caposa for helping us compile these lists, so don't forget to show him some support by giving him a follow on his Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman, and you can support him by checking out his Patreon at patreon.com/Caposa, and make sure you check out his website this week at GrabakaHitman.com to see the weekly live schedules for this weekend so you can check out some action like these clips live. And these wouldn't be possible without the help of these amazing promotions hosting these events year-round for us to enjoy. And we want to thank the fighters, winners, and losers, and we will see you all on the next video. Peace!